Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 20 of SevTech Ages. It's been a little while since I've recorded, so let me show you. I guess there's only one meaningful thing I did, which was I built a couple pump jacks in this other chunk here, which was an oil chunk. I actually did this a couple days ago, and I built four thinking that, well, even after it mines out the, however much oil was in the chunk, the 3 million millibuckets, they would all produce trace oil. It turns out only one pump gets to produce the 6 millibuckets of take of trace oil in the chunk. So looks like what I'm going to have to do is relocate 3 of these to other chunks. But that's no big deal. What is a kind of big deal though was I logged in today and I wanted to check the status of our quarry, right? We had this thing running on the moon getting various things. And I noticed it didn't seem like it was importing items. And what's perhaps more concerning is that our disk drive shows that it's empty. Um, this quantum storage disk doesn't say how many items are in it. We check the tooltip. We can see that it doesn't say anything about items being in it. And our grid is empty. So I took a look at this. I think at some point my server might have crashed, and when it did, I suspect it might have corrupted the data on this quantum storage drive. So let me cheat one in and show you how they should look when they're working. So a quantum storage disk, right? It says that, it says how many items are stored on it, and this one doesn't. So if I take the broken one out and put our new one in, you see that it starts importing all these items just as expected, but they're stored on this disk, and the one, basically all of our previous items were stored on this disk, which now doesn't have items anymore. So I'm going to have to do some investigating to see if I can somehow recover it, like if the data is still somewhere. If not, then we're just going to, I guess, throw this broken disk out. If I end up throwing the broken disk out, I'll keep this cheated disk because it takes an hour to craft. I don't want to sit there waiting for the crafter to work for an hour. But it looks like we're going to, if I can't recover the items, good news is the only stuff that was on this disk was the stuff coming from the quarry, so no real loss. But it makes me kind of concerned if we're going to switch over to store all of our items on a quantum storage disk, right? If literally every item we owned was on the disk that got deleted, that may as well end the series. So I'm a little concerned now about actually storing items on these if they are prone to lose our items on like crash or unclean shutdown. But I'm gonna do some investigating to see if I can recover those items. In the meantime, what else can we do? I suppose until I have those items, we can't progress, right? Our goal is to continue down the Galacticraft progression. Ultimately, let's see, I want to get over to making the where is it? The mystical agriculture stuff, because that'll be our late game resource production. So I guess give me a second to investigate, see if I can recover these items, and hopefully we'll be able to. Alright, I did some digging, and I think I found out when this bug happened. For some reason, while the server was saving, about almost a month ago actually, that's about how long ago it's been since I recorded, the server thread ended up deadlocked while writing the contents of the drive. I don't know if like the disk I was writing to, like my hard drive filled up or something. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, it got locked there, and then eventually the watchdog killed the thread, and it killed it mid write, because of whatever bug caused it to happen. So this quantum storage disk is thoroughly dead. Unfortunately, since it was almost a month ago, I don't have a backup that goes back that far too. So maybe I'm not going to delete it just in case it might be useful. I don't know if someone can use it to reproduce the error later if I end up reporting it. But let's just throw it aside somewhere where I won't use it on accident, because I can't really use it. It's thoroughly broken. But what that means is we're going to have to rerun our quarry on the moon because we're down to 3 pieces of cheese, and we're going to need a lot more than that. So let's head back to the moon and reset up our quarry. And we're back on the moon. Our quarry appears to still be running. I think, again, when it has something to do with the server crash, the state of like where the quarry thought it was might have gotten reverted a little bit, because it's definitely running, but there's no items coming out. So, right, any items that go in here should get pulled out. No? Something really kind of weird is happening. Right, because items that go in here should get pulled into our refined storage network. All right, let's head back to the overworld and take a look. I can't wait till we get a better teleportation system so I don't have to try to figure out what star to go to. Yes, this is what I get for not playing for so long. I kind of forget how to do things. No, it's here. Okay, I think, oh, is this just not trunk loaded? Oh, I have trunk loaders, right? Oh, do I have to right-click the trunk loaders to turn them on again? Because that one wasn't spinning until I right-clicked it, right? Let's find another one of my trunk loaders. That might be why things were appearing to not work, because my trunk loaders were not. Yeah, so this trunk loader isn't spinning, and when I... Okay, so I guess for some reason my trunk loaders turn themselves off and I have to go right-click them all once. That's kind of annoying. Alright, I'll be back when I've done that. Alright, I turned all our trunk loaders in the overworld back on. I think it's kind of annoying that they turn off, but whatever. Maybe it has to do with that crash as well. Anyways, let's head back to the moon and see if we can figure out why our quarry isn't producing yet. Worst case, I can just move it, I guess. It's a big deal. Oops. Let's actually wear our spacesuit on the moon. So now when I put items in, yeah, since the overworld side is now trunk loaded, the items get sucked out. So anyways, is it running? It is. 37, 36, but it's not actually producing items. Very likely because it's actually already quarried this spot. So let's see about moving it to this corner instead. So what axis is that on? Positive X. I want to shift the card along the positive X axis 512. So get rid of that minus sign. If my math is correct, we should see that the preview should now be in this corner. Perfect. And I guess we'll move our bed so that we don't break that. All right. When we turn it on, let's see if we start getting items. There we go. Now it's running again. Perfect. It's also getting less items than I expect. No, maybe not. Maybe this is the right number of items. All right, cool. So we fixed our moon quarry. It's running again. Unfortunately, it has to, start over. Like we have to start over from having no items. So that's okay. Let me go set up another one of these on Mars. I'll do that off camera because we've already seen the process of building one of these quarries, right? So I'll be back in a second. In the process of making our second builder, I realized we basically ran out of paper. If we take a look, we have 2 sheets of paper left. So I built these modular machines whose purpose, I guess there's 2 of them. First is a mixer. If we look, the mixer can do stuff like dough, hides, but right now we're only using it to make pulp. And then after making pulp, we can take the pulp and dry it. So this is the same process as we were doing before by hand, but now it's just automated. And we can use the industrial dryer. The higher tier one is just slightly faster, but it also, if we take a look, it uses a lot of manulin, and we just don't have an easy way of going to produce this much manulin. I don't want to go back to the nether and mine it again. But it's fast enough. It produces paper. So cool. Now our paper production is automated. We can repurpose this to do stuff like leather or hides if we need to later. But our leather production, is already done automatically through the ritual, right? So we don't really need it. Anyways, back to making that quarry. And here's our quarry on Mars. Once we flick it on, we should. Yep. Now we're getting the Mars rocks in addition to the lunar rocks. So looks like our extract is able to keep up with our insert more or less. Our power production, on the other hand, probably cannot keep up with running 2 quarries at a time. But we can look into improving that, or we can just turn one of these off when it's time. Gold clusters? I wonder where we're getting this from. One of the ores in Mars must drop that. Anyways, what we're really after is Desh. because with Dash, let's head back to the overworld and I'll show you what we can do with it. All right, we're back and we have 100 pieces of Dash. So the main reason I want it, at least for now, is to make the matter receiver and transmitter from RF tools so that we can use the RF tools teleportation network. And if we look at it, it takes a couple compressed Dash plates as well as some other stuff that we have and a teleportation core, which I think is, let's see, atomic alloy required. So we have to do some work on the metallurgic infuser to make it. But besides that, I think we're more or less ready to make these. Let's craft up a couple of these and we can replace our Astral Sorcery teleportation network with RF tools. I crafted all the components for the RF tools teleportation system. Let's set it up. Now, at a minimum, you need a dialing device and some number of transmitters and receivers, which I guess if you had to guess, transmitters send you to receivers. So let's set up our first one here. This will be our, main base, so to speak. Now, they need a little bit of power. It's not a lot. So I typically just take a power cell with me wherever I want to place one of these. I place the power cell, some wires, set it to output, link it. I guess we're just not producing enough. That's probably fine. So we need a dialing device. Let's see, transmitter and receiver. So I like to do receiver on the left, transmitter on the right, I think. Because you come in the left, out the right. And you can name these. So it's less important that you name the transmitter and more important that you name the receiver. So if we give them names. Now, right now, since this is all we have, it's not very useful. We can do this, which will connect this transmitter. Whoops, bit of lag there. Connect this transmitter to this receiver. So if we walk in here, we get teleported. Now, that's not terribly useful, right? Because that's 2 blocks apart. So let's go set one up on the moon, and we can link those, and that'll be a little bit more useful. So right now, for us to go to the moon, well, let's start by putting our spacesuit on. Right now, to go to the moon, we have to find the star and right click it. We have to stand on the right spot. And we're on the moon. So with this new teleportation system, what we can do is set that same thing up. Zombies sound real close. But screw zombies. So transmitter, receiver, and name them. Uh-oh, why do these have 0 power? Let's temporarily turn you off so that we can have a little bit of power make it to these. No, not interested? Come on, power. All right, give me a second to get some power into it. They have a tiny bit. Well, give me a second so we have a little bit more power in our matter transmitter specifically. All right, these have enough power to run now. And now we can dial from, so what you do is on the top, you select your transmitter, and on the bottom, you select your receiver. So by doing this, we can dial the transmitter on the moon to the receiver in the overworld. And when we step into here, it should teleport us. And would you look at that, we're in the overworld. Now, we can do one better. This isn't that much of an upgrade as it stands over what we had before, right? We don't have to target where we're going, but we still have to walk over to our transmitter and step on it for a couple seconds and yada, yada, yada. But what I have in my hand is a charge porter, and this is like a handheld teleporter or like a handheld matter transmitter. So if I take this charge porter and shift right click it on a matter receiver, you can see that it says it has been added to the charge porter. And now all I have to do is shift right click it, set which one I want to go to, and right click, and bam, I teleport there. So let's go to the moon so we can register the one on the moon as well. So here on the moon, shift right click the matter receiver, and then when we shift right click this in the air, we can say take me to the moon. So we can in one click go to the overworld, and in another click go back to the moon. Takes a couple seconds to load when I do it, but that's a much easier teleportation method than having to stand in these in these beams. And this works across dimensions, so that if ever I'm stranded somewhere, I can just set, my home teleport, and whoosh, I'm home. So it does use a little bit of power. You see, I think it started with like 1,000,000 RF, and in the course of playing with it, we drain, about a third of it. We don't have meaningful like flux capacitors yet, so we can't charge it on the go. But for now, I'm just dumping it in our charger to get it to charge. Looks like we can probably do about 10 teleports on a full charge, and if we have to do more than that, I'll have to, come charge it manually or find some way to bring batteries with me or a capacitor with me. Anyways, I'm going to set up another one of these teleportation things on Mars and I guess over in the desert even. So once I set these up, we won't need to rely on the Astral Sorcery teleportation system to get around. Although it's still an option if we want to get around without using power. Anyways, I'll be back in a second. Just got back from setting up all of our charge porters, or all of our matter transmitter whatevers, so we can now go between here, the main base, and anywhere that we've registered. Now the handheld one only has room for up to 8, but we can store, as many as we want in the dialing device, as many transmitters as we have. So that's that. Next up, let's work on getting to the next tier planet. So right now we have our tier 2 rocket, which can take us up to Mars, but I think we were able to get the blueprint from the tier 3 rocket, or for the tier 3 rocket, from this block here, the, what was it called again? Jeez. That is not what I meant to do. Anyways, from our blueprint making block here, that makes it out to like cheese and whatever. It's called a scamulator. So we got the schematic for a tier 3 rocket, so let's go build it. Looking at this, it's very similar in recipe to all the ones we've done before, except instead of using, the basic plates, it uses tier 3 plates. Titanium. I don't think we have titanium yet. I think we have to use heavy duty plate, tier 2 plates. Okay, so let me do all that work in our compressor. And actually, now that I think about it, maybe it's time we make the hydraulic press. So the hydraulic press just does the same thing the compressor does, the same efficiency. It uses a little bit of lubricant, which we should have plenty of, but it's much faster. So if we take a look at how long this takes, there's no number, but I think it takes about 10 seconds to do one run in the electric compressor, and one run takes produces 2 plates. Right, it does two batches at a time. This, however, takes basic math, 50 divided by 20, 2.5 seconds to do one. So it's twice as fast as the compressor. So as long as it doesn't take any ridiculous materials, which it doesn't look like it does, let's build one of these, and we'll use this in place of our slower basic compressor, wherever I had that, but right here. Maybe I'll just build it right here. Our base is messy enough as it is, right? What's another machine in the middle of nowhere? Let me gather up those components. So I have all the components for it. This hydraulic press, to me, feels a bit like another one of those over-engineered multi-blocks. It's 3x3x3, right? 27 total blocks, and yet it uses 9 unique types of blocks. What advantage is there to using reinforced machine casings over, say, regular machine casings in some of these areas, when the regular machine, the only difference is the reinforced one uses 4 pieces of obsidian. Woohoo! Like 1 extra piece of obsidian each. It feels like it's a lot of added complexity that doesn't add any value. And I also don't have enough machine casings. So anyways, let's build this out. Despite my complaints, it's not like expensive material wise or anything. It's just I think it's needlessly complex. Like, what value is there to having a single machine circuitry here when they're just like different stylistic blocks? A casing, a machine, and a casing. And I think it'll accept any Galacticraft machine in the middle there. At least that's what it looked like. That's what I hope. And what are the inputs? It's item input, fluid input. Where is the output then? Output's over here. Alright, well, let's hope it forms. Hey, there we go. At least I built it right. So I'm going to need to supply it with some lubricant. For now, I think I'll just move a large tank of it by hand. We don't really use it for anything else, so we have this quantum tank that has 6 million millibuckets. I think that's enough to fill this. Oh, just kidding, not even close. But whatever, we have a lot of lubricant as a point. Right, this is just under 6 million. Wait, no, just under 6 million buckets. Is that right? No, just under 6,000 buckets. Just under 6 million millibuckets. There we go. That's how numbers work. And let's get a fluid pipe that can move stuff one block. I like the mechanism fluid pipes. Let's use those. The mechanical pipe. And we can tier them up to the highest tier ones. Not that it matters, but they're cheap enough to upgrade to ultimate. And if you see here, they can move a lot of fluid very fast. So the way this works is you place them down and you use something called a configurator to set input and output sides. And the configurator, I guess, needs. So with this, you just push there, pull here. There we go. And that fills with lubricant. So now I think if we need to make, that we want to make some compressed dash, we just put this in here. Uh-oh. Is that not how it's done? Lubricant, dash ingot, and make compressed dash. Oh, I have to power it. Oh, derp. Alright, where here do I have a power line? Anyways, let me hook it up to power, I guess. I should have it around here somewhere. Anyways, let me hook it up to power and I'll be right back. There we go. Now that it's powered, it produces plates. And it does it pretty quickly. So now that I look at it again, it also does 2 operations at a time. So it's actually, I think, 4 times as fast, or 8 times as fast? I don't know. It's significantly faster than an electric compressor anyways. So once, I guess now that we have that, we can take this down and I'll hook up, all the hoppers we were using here over to that. Thanks to our new hydraulic press, it only took a couple minutes to make all the plates we need. So let's make our tier 3 rocket. Looks like I can't shift click, but oh, let's switch this over to tier 3 and put our components in. And the chest. So here we have it, a tier 3 rocket. Not quite sure what planet we're gonna go to with this, but let's just go there and find out. Put it on our launch pad. Let's see, I think it's being loaded with fuel. Fuel is being loaded. Now, before we go anywhere, let's make sure we're wearing our spacesuit. Let's put our spare supplies away. So I'm not bringing any way to launch the rocket back. What I'm thinking is I'll just bring the rocket back, by hand, and then set up a dialing device, matter, teleportation thingy there with a power cell to power it. So I think once it's loaded, we should be good to go. I think the tier 3 is either going to be Venus or maybe the asteroid belt. We are fueled, and just to be sure, I think I have a parachute. Right, I have a parachute and two fuel tank or two full air tanks. Here we go. All right. We've seen enough rocket launches now, right? I'll just see you when we're at the destinations. And here we are. So what is our tier 3 planet? Let's see. Mars is tier 2 and its moons are tier 2. That's not where we want to go. How do I zoom out? There we go. So Venus is tier 3. I'm not necessarily sure this is one we want to go to. Has dungeon is true, but let's see. Is the asteroid? Yeah, the asteroids are also tier 3. I definitely should have checked this before I launched. That would have been a good idea, huh? Let's just head to the asteroids. I think Venus needs another exposure suit that I don't have yet. So worst case, we'll have to launch another rocket to Venus after. But the asteroids does say no dungeon. Whatever. Let's go here for now and see what it's like. I wonder how we land on the asteroids. I know the parachute's not going to do us any good. Guess are we just in a box? We're in a TARDIS? Sure. So let's snag this, make sure that we have a way to, or make sure we have our stuff with us. And I guess we'll just set up on this asteroid. Not having flight here is going to be a little annoying because getting from asteroid to asteroid without flight might be a bit of a challenge. Down to my last aluminum wire. Good thing they're easy to make. Alright, so let's get this set up and see what the environment looks like around here. Now, if I understand right, in the asteroid dimension, if you fall out the bottom, you get teleported to the top. So let's test that. But first, let's add the asteroids to our charge porter so that if we end up somewhere we don't want to be, we can just teleport back. That'll be our emergency, escape hatch. I think some of these asteroids too have a juicy center to them that have resources. Perhaps of particular note to us would be something like meteoric iron. I'm not sure what else we'd be looking for actually. Perhaps just meteoric iron. Let's see what the material is for the next tier. So the tier 4 heavy duty plate uses tier 3 plates, compressed mercury and carbon. I'll have to see where these come from. Mercury ingots come from mercury ore. Does it say where this comes from? Nope. Alright, well, we're gonna have to do some exploring then. Doesn't look like this asteroid had a juicy center either. That's a shame. But once we're set up here, I think what I'll do is I'll bring one of our quarries over here, one of our builders, and just have it quarry this dimension. What did that give us? Asteroid rock? Doesn't look like asteroid rock's useful for anything, unfortunately. Anyways, so as we fall, when our Y level hits 0, I expect it'll wrap us around to the top. And if we start taking void damage, I'll just teleport. Moment of truth. Uh-oh, we didn't wrap around. We're taking void damage. Alright, so I guess it doesn't wrap around. Oh, now we know. Maybe that's a config option that's just not enabled in this pack then. Let's see if we can work our way over to that ice island. Can I make maybe a glider of some sort? Nope. And I think all the jetpacks... Oh, the spacesuits can have a jetpack on them? Huh. Let's go ahead and add a jetpack to our spacesuit. See how that works. Head back to the overworld to do that. Alright, I added the jetpack to our chest plate, and it looks like we can fly a little bit in the overworld. We still take fall damage, and it does seem like it uses its energy up pretty darn quickly. But let's teleport to the asteroids and see how it works there. Alright. Hello? Why am I don't know why it put me in the pod and not in the matter transmitter. Can I pick it up? Nope. I can destroy it. Whatever. So, yep. So now we can fly here. Unfortunately, it looks like it still uses its energy up insanely quickly. So even with the jetpack, we only have like seconds of flight. But all I want to do is check out this ice asteroid really quickly. I suspect we'll get Mercury and what was the other thing we needed? We'll get Mercury on Venus, maybe, or maybe get Mercury on Mercury. You know, that'd be an idea, huh? And we might get I don't know. Let's just dig in here and see what's inside. Whoa, there's a whole world in here. Look at how well lit up there is. There's sure a lot of mobs. Let's jump down. This is, I regret this immediately. What have I done? Well, if I have to leave, I can just teleport, I guess. Yeah, for being so well lit up in here, there's a lot of mobs. Good thing we have a nice weapon. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's anything in here, resource-wise. So, yeah, let's clear it out to take a quick look around. But at a glance, I don't see any ores or anything interesting like that. Alright, whatever. Let's just head back then. Doesn't look like there's anything here. Alright, so how about, I'll go grab one of our quarries. I think the one in the... Oops. The one on Mars has done enough, so I'm probably going to move that one over to here. And let's just make sure that we have enough. Yeah, we have 1.5k dash. I can't imagine we'll need more than that at any point. Let's see what the tier 4 rocket schematic takes. It takes mercury, which is from mercury ore. So actually, we have a rocket. Let's just launch it again and see if we can go to the planet Mercury with a tier 4 rocket. And if we can, I'm going to need another teleporter. So let me make another set of teleport tools, and then we can see if we can go to Mercury. Alright, and off we go to Mercury. I'm really hoping we don't have to go to Venus because I don't want to have to make our suit again. Because this is only the tier 1 and I'm pretty sure we need the tier 2. Also forgot to recharge our jet. But I don't think we'll need the jetpack on Mercury. Alright, see you there. And here we go to Mercury. Tier 3. Make a lot of sense that you get Mercury on Mercury, wouldn't it? Uh-oh, invalid thermal protection. This isn't good. I might just have to... Oh god. Alright, so we don't die, I'm just gonna abort. That does mean we lost our rocket, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to make another tier 3 rocket. Which isn't the end of the world. It looks like our chest piece broke. Oh, that's that bug. That's really annoying. I think if you have modules installed in your chest piece and they run out of energy, they break. So I'm not sure if our thermal. I think we still need the next tier of thermal gear, but I'm also gonna need a new chest piece and a new rocket. That's annoying, but let's go. I guess I'll have to go rebuild that. Alright, so I rebuilt our chest piece. I'm not going to put the jetpack on it because I think putting the jetpack on it does cause the breaking bug. But I took a look here at the thermal padding, and it does say that the tier 3 is required for Mercury. So let's see what it takes to make it. Some compressed dash, some more compressed dash, and a lot of wool. Okay, that doesn't seem too bad. Let's go make ourselves a set of that. Thankfully, I've been collecting wool here from our sheep. You know, the ritual makes them drop it, and then I've just been harvesting it with the ender hopper, which should be enough wool to make us that tier 3 padding. This takes this, takes this. Let's just do a stack. Oh dear, it takes 5 to make 1. Looks like we're going to need a bit more thermal cloth. Additionally, this stuff doesn't stack apparently. Alright, I'll do the crafting off camera. Be back in a sec. Right, here we have one replacement tier 3 rocket. And actually I think we also need to rebuild the launch pad, don't we? But I think that's very simple. Yeah, that's, what is this? Compressed iron and some iron. So let's put on our improved thermal padding. And I think this is just strictly an upgrade. Like we don't need the red tier anymore. But I'll hang on to it just in case. But I think like if we go back to Mars or anything, the what is this, blue tier stuff will do the trick. So hopefully once we get this rocket loaded up with fuel, we should be able to head over to, we should be able to go back to Mercury, and hopefully this time we won't crash and burn on the surface with any luck. And almost fueled. Alright, see you as I'll cut to when we start landing. Once again, here we go to Mercury. So I think the reason we crashed last time was because I wasn't holding spacebar to slow down. Yeah, you have to slow down so you don't crash into the surface. Although we are still at Y600, so we don't really slow down all that much. Anyways, now I'm not dying of environment damage on the way down either, so there's no rush to get to the surface. I'm pretty sure it was a combination of not having the tier 3 thermal protection and having my spacesuit, my chest piece break that caused the problem. And I think that actually is where we crash landed last time. But looks like this time we were able to make it to the surface in one piece. I think this is all debris. I don't think we'll find like a leftover rocket in here or anything. And in this thing, we should be able to recover our rocket for if we want to reuse it to go to Venus or somewhere. Anyways, welcome to Mercury. Since I'm not terribly interested in trying to look for a dungeon here, I'll probably just end up moving another one of our quarries here and running it. There's one thing that caught my eye though. This here. I wonder what that is. I suppose it's probably like a meteor of some sort. Meteoric iron. Oh, cool. So this might be an easier way to get meteoric iron. Let's see what it does. Can I turn it into... Yeah, I can turn it into 9. It's like a block of it. Awesome. Let's grab it all. I guess that'll be it for all of my meteoric iron woes. Alright, so anyways, let's set up our teleporter so we can get out of here and, you know, come and go as we please. And then I'll go grab one of our builders and set it up here in Mercury. So now that we have tier 4, well, no, we still don't have carbon, do we? Whoopsies. That's fine. The receiver, transmitter, sync that. Looks like these are beam powered. Right, because I recall the tier 4 rocket, or the tier 4 heavy plating. What was it called? Let's see. Heavy duty plate, tier 4, uses carbon as well as mercury. So assuming we get this here, where do we get carbon from? That's not terribly helpful. Let me look that up. Alright, so according to the FTB wiki, both carbon and mercury can be found here on the planet Mercury. So let's head back, grab our builder. Let's see, let's grab our builder from Mars, and we'll set it up here on Mercury. So this thing, it's only done 65 chunks, but I'm pretty sure we have enough dash. You know what, maybe instead of reusing this, because none of the components here are terribly expensive, I'll just turn it off. And one problem, actually, one tiny little problem, is that to make these power cells, they take prismarine, and I don't actually have a good way of making prismarine yet. So what little I have, I think I somehow stumbled across in, like, while I was exploring something else, and I just happened to have like 30-40 pieces of it, but I've used all that already. So, you know, actually we can make the atomic reconstructor now, right? A lot of stuff, but none of this is stuff we don't have. I was going to say, why don't we go reuse, or, you know, I'll come and snag this power cell to reuse, but how about instead, let's just go ahead and make that atomic, you know, bite the bullet and make the atomic reconstructor before we set up a quarry on Mercury. So let's make that our next project. Let's head back to the overworld. So looking at this, almost all the components in here aren't all that bad. The worst of it probably is actually going to be the crafting table that we need to build it on. So this requires a tier 2 crafting table, which requires a couple tier 1 crafting tables. It's a highly nested recipe, and since we don't have auto crafting yet, nested recipes are a little annoying. So I'm just going to craft it off camera so you're not looking, you know, you don't have to watch me go through AI for a couple hours. But I don't think it'll be too bad. So let me go ahead and build ourselves a tier 3 crafting table. And here's our tier 3 elite crafting table, which lets us do 7x7, I think. There's still one more tier above this, the 9x9s, right? The ultimate crafting table, and I think that's only used for stuff like the singularity. Basically, it's for that and the creatives, but we're not quite at that point yet. I guess the exchanging gadget is made in the 9x9s for some reason. Whatever. these can be made in a 7x7. I guess they just copy the recipe. Anyways, it seems like it's mostly just for a few of the creatives. But yeah, we're not at that point yet, so we don't have to quite worry about making that. But now I already forgot what we made this for. We did it to make the atomic reconstructor, right? So give me a second to grab some of these components. I imagine the majority of the stuff we just have. Ice, I might have to get silk touch on something to pick up some ice. Oh no, we could just make it in a hydrator. Alright, whatever. Give me a second to secure all of these components. While in the process of making components for the atomic reconstructor, I discovered that the batteries from Actually Additions don't actually take empowerers to make. Normally this recipe uses like empowered Inori or something, so we can't make it until we do an empower, but that recipe was changed. So conveniently we can now make up to 2 million RF batteries, which I think can be put in baubles. Just kidding, looks like they can't. That's a shame. But since this only holds 1 million, the battery can fully recharge our charge porter twice. And I'll probably just store it on my person as a backup in case we ever, drain our charge porter. So back to making atomic reconstructor components. With any luck, we should now be able to make our atomic reconstructor. What I do is, as I gather each individual component, I throw it into our crafting table, and then oops, we're missing the laser core, hold on. And then I can just use JI to check what I'm missing. So I think the laser core... Okay, thankfully it doesn't take anything crazy. I was worried it might take some environmental tech components that I don't have yet, but that is not the case. Alright, so with that, we can then just have JEI arrange them all and make our atomic reconstructor. So the reason I wanted to make that was because it can easily take nether quartz and turn it into prismarine, which we need for... I've already forgotten what we needed it for. We needed it for something. So let's grab a redstone torch so we can switch it into pulse mode. And a button to turn it on with. So pulse and button. There we go. And here we have it. 1 stack of prismarine. Oh, right. We needed it for power cells. Yeah, so power cells take a little bit of prismarine. And, ooh, that's not good. We are out of diamonds. And unfortunately, we do not have an easy way to make diamonds yet. Diamond shards, huh? I guess we can make diamonds out of carbon eventually. But, that's unfortunate because, yeah, we don't have... I don't really want to go dig up another diamond vein because it took me a long time to find the one that we did dig up, and it doesn't look like I can turn diamond armor back into diamonds. Well, I guess nothing I can do about it. Time to head back to the desert and try to find another diamond vein. Hopefully this one doesn't take quite as long. I probably won't even dig up anything that isn't diamond along the way. Since I'm only looking for diamond, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a scanner. I left 1 diamond ore piece here, and I got myself a silk touch pickaxe, which means if I come and silk touch this, I should get... Oh shoot, I got... The ore I picked up was vanilla diamond ore, not the kimberlite ore that was on the ground. I actually wonder, will that confuse the scanner? I guess let's find out. So if I take this, I could have just bound the thing to it before picking it up. But anyways, if I put this in here, will I power, right? Where did I put my battery? There we go. So obviously that will detect that, but I don't know if it'll detect that kimberlite ore. let's pick this up with Silk Touch just so we have it on hand. How many can I process this into? 2. I can do 4 with that. If I... Maybe it's better if I just make a void ore miner. Well, whatever. I guess I'm gonna have to see if this scanner is able to find that kimberlite ore, or if I messed up by binding it to that diamond ore. I was hoping that this would be an easier way to find diamond, because if you remember, we went through the... let's set this to night mode. We searched through all this desert to find that first diamond vein. So I guess I have to do a bit more searching, and because I don't think the scanner works, I can't use it to find ores. Dang, that sucks. Alright, well, hunt for diamonds. Whew, found it. So we're currently at Y74. I wonder if this will be able to scan it. We might also just be too far up. Let's dig down a little bit. I think it only has 64 tile range. See if this can scan it. So yeah, I think because this is diamond ore and not kimberlite ore or whatever it was, the scanners, I don't know how to pick it up. So when we get down there, I'll tune the scanner to kimberlite instead of diamond, and I just won't pick up the diamond ore or the kimberlite ore. Yes, ooh, here it is. Perfect. Did I only get 1 from it? So yeah, that doesn't work, but if I take this module out and attune it to kimberlite, and then scan, that does work. Oh hey, I found another vein over there. Wow. Ha, how nice. Anyways, I'm gonna dig some of it with fortune. Right, this has fortune 6. The first piece only gave me 1 though. That gave 3. That gave 5. If I average... Okay, yeah, I think we just got very unlucky with the 1. Oh, there's another one. But anyways, I think I'm averaging at least close enough to 4 that I'll dig this out with fortune and not worry about it. Because what I could do, right, if I dug it out with Silk Touch, I could get these diamond ores, which I can process into 4. And I think that's the best I can do from ore. Yeah, that looks like the best I can do. But with fortune, we got almost 2 stacks. Anyways, let's head over to there. Oh, one thing I should have tested. I wonder how many I get from vanilla ore. Ooh, I wonder... When I get to that vein, I'll test if it's better to Silk Touch it into vanilla ore and then fortune it. Anyways, let's head in that direction and find that other vein. I'll probably just see you when I get back to base, though. I don't think anyone wants to watch me mine. Alright, between those 2 diamond veins, we were able to get just under 4 stacks, I think. Right, that's 236 diamonds. So we should be able to build our quarry now, or our builder, and set that up on Mercury to get us the Mercury resources. And here is our quarry on Mercury. When we turn it on, we should see... There we go, it's getting all these Mercury rocks. And at some point, hopefully anyways, we'll see it get some ores. There's Mercury ore, that's good. And carbon ore, perfect. So with Mercury and carbon, those will be the materials we need to get tier... what is it, tier 5 or tier 4? Whatever, the next tier of rockets. We already had tier 3. So tier 4 rockets, and we can continue down our Galactic Craft advancement, working our way towards mystical agriculture. Anyways, I think this episode has gone over length a fair bit, but that's fine. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm hoping to get into a more regular upload schedule starting, with this one. So I hope to see you very soon. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Take care. Bye-bye.